What is good, and welcome to tonight's chart review. Today was interesting. This whole week actually has just been not it. This whole week, it's only Tuesday, but the past week and where we're at today, what we've been doing today just hasn't really been it. A lot of the action and a lot of the opportunity has happened in London and AM, like before the market even opens. And that's just how it's going to be. The market's going to do what it wants to do. And our job as traders is to recognize conditions like this and to protect ourselves, defend ourselves, and not lose your conviction, and to keep doing what you're doing. We're going to go over the possible trades I saw today. I did take one trade today. I took a loss. I took a little stab. I took light size on the funded account, my first trade. I lost $25. Not that big of a deal. Like, life will go on. There'll be more trades in the future. I don't hate the trade that I took today, but there hasn't really been high quality opportunity in the past week and a half, and that's just how it's going to be sometimes. There are going to be times when we just don't get high quality opportunity. A plus setups aren't going to happen every single day. A plus setups aren't going to happen every week, but it's our job as traders to recognize when those A plus setups happen and position ourselves accordingly. So we're kind of going to go over where my head was at going into today. If we look at NAS, I wanted us to be bullish today. I still wanted this to be buy side of the curve. But as you can see, we sold off hard in the overnight. So we have this sell side level on the 1 hour, and we just come out and we sell off. We sell off. We don't want to go higher at all right now. And as you can see, we're kind of rebalancing higher. But I don't know. I'll go in my bias a little bit later. But right now, right when market opens, I was bearish, but there was really no trades to take. I do like a short here, but this is pre-market, which this is 8:15, which I don't expect opportunity to be here at 8:15. But if we look at where we're at, we keep on selling off. We keep on selling off. Bearish imbalance respected. Bearish balance respected. The reason why this trade's okay is because it is a turtle soup. It is very far in a discount of this range, but the reason why this does work out is because it's a turtle soup, and as well as there's an SMT. The SMT just adds a little bit extra confluence. As you can see here, we're clearly selling off. We clearly don't want to go higher. Lack of displacement to go higher and just displacement lower. As you can see, the draw now becomes this low on NQ. This wouldn't have been a bad scalp in my opinion, but like, this is pre-market. I don't expect high quality opportunity pre-market. This ended up being a decent trade, and I think that this was acceptable. Taking an entry here, maybe waiting for that displacement. The fact that we had SMT, which is extra confluence. You can put your stop a little bit higher, or you can put your stop at that wick, and then taking it to the sell side. As you can see, we get a quick flush. And if you were to take this trade, and the fact that we did sell off this much more, you shouldn't be worried. Our job as traders is to take what we're confident in and take what the draw on liquidity is. The draw on liquidity isn't all the way down here. The draw on liquidity is this low, taking low hanging fruit. You're going to become profitable by taking low hanging fruit, not by taking hindsight trades. Like, you can look back and you could have taken this, and then we could have sold off this far. You could be like, man, why didn't I not? I could have made so much more money. I could have had so much more profit. That's used to how I think. That used to be how I think. Like, I remember one time in my trading career, I was actually talking to my friend, and he doesn't trade. He doesn't really know much about trading, but I was like, yeah, I left money on the table today. That should not be your mindset. As a trader, leaving money on the table is not the mindset, because we are here to get what's repeatable, what is consistent. I am confident within this. I'm not confident within this. Like, whatever happened here is just hindsight, and it's after the fact. We end up selling off. I would have liked that short. That was the possible opportunity. We have the SMT, and we have that soup. Notice how we have these stacked highs. We have the SMT, and then we just flush to the sell side level. The only reason you can take this is because it's a turtle soup. As you can see, we just keep on selling off. Market opens around here, and I don't even start live until later. I didn't even hop on live until later, until I kind of saw maybe a little bit of opportunity is when I hopped on live. But I knew that after this big sell-off that we've been having sell-offs like this recently, anytime we have a sell-off like this overnight, we're expecting slower, choppier, consolidative action. We're not really going to ruin our conviction on trades. On trades like this in days like this. Like, I took a trade, it didn't even affect me. It's okay. It is what it is. After sell-offs like this, we're going to expect structure on the 1 minute to validate us going long. So we have a big sell-off. As you can see, we have this 4-hour fair value gap I had, and I don't love paying attention to like little itty bitty fair value gaps that are especially like this far away from price. I like to see like what is price currently doing, but we did have this 4-hour fair value gap I did mark out. We also have a 4-hour order block, which we didn't necessarily touch, but we kind of did. But we were respecting this 4-hour fair value gap. I don't love it because it is kind of, it's not in relative to what price is doing right now, but it's still respected. It hasn't been rebalanced back into, and now we are rebalancing back to it. And as you can see, we kind of start making a reaction off of it. So at around market open, there's nothing to touch. Notice what we are doing here, though. We are generating liquidity on the way lower. We are putting in highs to generate price lower. I especially don't like anything here. A lot of the times, we'll have a move lower, and then we'll have a big sell-off or something like this. And this first initial price leg is just to trap traders. This is not us being long. Like, this is not an opportunity to go long. This is just another generated buy-side level. And then we come down. This is then when we form internal SMT. The reason why I don't love this is because it's kind of too zoomed in of an SMT. Had it been an SMT with like this low or something, I think that this trade could have gone out a little bit better. So we have an SMT at lows, and then we get displacement higher off the 1 minute. We come back down. We have displacement higher. We now have generated buy side level. Keep in mind, why does the market need to move? What are we always doing? We're hunting liquidity. We're rebalancing to equilibrium. We're rebalancing to an imbalance, and we also are generating liquidity. On this way down, we are generating liquidity on this way down to later run throughout the rest of the day. Notice price action as well. If we just look at this, I know this is a 1 minute chart, but let's zoom out to like a 5 minute chart. If we zoom out, it's a lot less clear of what we're doing. It's a lot less clear. We're kind of going to move up, rebalance. And I will say, along here actually isn't that bad. Kind of looking at this on the 5 minute, along here isn't that bad. I simply just didn't like the action we had today. I wasn't very comfortable with taking it. And notice we're just within this range. There isn't really a high quality opportunity, and there isn't very efficient. Notice how price throughout all this did not move very efficient. That's something just to recognize. So we now have put in a low. We have an SMT. We get displacement higher. And I take a long here. We have a soup. And then we create a fair value gap. We get displacement higher. I take the imbalance just to target this internal high. The reason why I kind of like this is because we have standard deviation that lined up nicely with buy side. So that's what I like this. I also overanalyzed here. I thought this was an SMT fair value gap. If you guys look in the homework channel, I asked you guys what an SMT fair value gap is. Basically, SMT fair value gap is when ES or NQ rebalances to that fair value gap, but NQ never does. The opposing indice never does. And so at the time, ES is coming back down in this fair value gap. And I thought this was an SMT fair value gap, but if we look here, this little wick did rebalance into this fair value gap. So that was another extra confluence onto it, but it wasn't right. It wasn't correct. Had we actually had an SMT fair value gap, I would have thought that this trade would have played out. I don't hate this trade. If I were to have taken this on ES, it would have played out. Played out just targeting this internal high. It would have played out, but it's all hindsight. The trade idea wasn't necessarily bad. It did end up playing out on ES. I'm not mad about the trade idea. I don't think that was necessarily bad. I had good risk. I knew the risk I was putting on the table, and it just never played out. It just never played out. So we come back down. We have a fair value gap now. I believe we have a 5 minute fair value gap. I want to see, at the time, I wanted to see this low get taken to validate us going long. I want to see us take this low, and I think longs would have been higher quality. Notice how we also still, whenever we've had big sell-offs like this, we are, a lot of times, or recently, we have been targeting equilibrium of the range. As you see, we rebalanced the equilibrium of just this price leg. And notice as well what we're doing. We're rebalancing to this imbalance. So why does the market move? To rebalance to an imbalance and to rebalance the equilibrium. We end up coming down and rebalancing the equilibrium, rebalancing to this inefficiency. That's what we end up doing for the rest of the day, and that's kind of what we did. We never had clear action, in my opinion. I thought there wasn't really any high quality opportunity. Notice, however, I will say longs here aren't terrible. We get this push up, but I really want to see this low get taken. We're not really taking any form of liquidity. And notice the action that we have. It's very choppy. It's very, like, these are 1 minute candles. And although, like, I'm kind of zoomed in right now, showing you guys and reviewing this, it's just very zoomed in. And also notice else what we do. We respect standard deviation. Whenever we respect -2 to 2.5, where do we expect the market to go to? Equilibrium of the price of the previous price leg. As you can see, we go into equilibrium, and where else do we also go into? I always do it the wrong way. We come back down into OTE of this price leg, and I don't love anything here. We are in OTE. We also are within this 5 minute imbalance, this big liquidity void, whatever you want to call it, this big imbalance. I think it might be a 15-minute imbalance. Not really. We're back within this 5 minute imbalance, these 5 minute imbalances. Then we end up respecting. I really don't see any high quality opportunity. Maybe a possible long here. Did there end up being an SMT at the lows or something that could validate us taking a long here? Okay, so we actually did have an SMT. We did have SMT. It's not very clean. Kind of cuts through price action, which is why I don't really like it. And it's pretty zoomed in. But this is an SMT. It's not very clean. Come back to OTE, have an SMT. This could be a possible reason to go long, but I don't see the reason to force any lower quality opportunity. Again, I did take a trade here, very low size, taking 1 micro, testing price action on the funded. I'm okay with taking this. Had I taken this on ES, it would have ended up playing out. It's all hindsight. I was taking this internal high. A lot of times we have a big sell-off. The best trades, or like the only quality trades that we're going to get, are just targeting internal highs or lows. Notice how we come down, target internal high. That could have been a good trade. Internal high, come back down, target internal high. I don't really like anything here. We come back up, and now we are within this 15-minute imbalance. We now are in this 15-minute imbalance, and I really don't love anything real here. This is the only other maybe potential opportunity that I like today. So we still have a ways to go in equilibrium. We still have this -4 standard deviation from this manipulation move. So we have -4 still a potential target. We also have equilibrium of that range, a potential target. We're like lack of displacement to go higher. Look at this chop. I just went to the gym, and that's the best thing about trading, is just getting on with your day when price action just doesn't look favorable. That's our job as traders. They're recognizing when it's just not worth it to trade and when it's just cool to sit out on things like this. As soon as I'm like, hey, I'm just going to get off, and I went to the gym, came back, and there really wasn't anything else. This was a potential trade that might have. This was the only other possible opportunity that I saw. Yeah, we end up. Where's the SMT here? I know that there's an SMT. Yeah, it's this low to this low, and I like this SMT because it's kind of it appears on the 5 minute, so it's not that zoomed in. A lot of the SMTs today that I was marking out were pretty zoomed in, but this is kind of a decent SMT here. And then after that SMT, we have reasons for a market to go higher. We get displacement up, taking a fair value gap here long, targeting this internal high. I think that wouldn't be a bad trade. Putting your stop at maybe this low or maybe a low down here. I would probably go with this low, and if I get stopped, I'll look to re-enter. But I like the risk here. I think this is a good trade, and we end up getting bought up. But I think there just wasn't much high quality opportunity today. High quality. Like, we just sold off. So trades here have to be zoomed in on the internal structure. We need to see more structure to validate us to go anywhere. And the thing that I really want to talk about today is, and the thing that I really want to talk about is that there's never just do you, and don't compare yourself to anyone else. I posted an Instagram short today. I said there wasn't any high quality opportunity in my opinion. And I looked at the comments, and I'm not letting comments affect me anymore, because you got to realize at the end of the day, you're the one that's pressing the buy or sell button. So why would we really even care about what other people are saying? And the comments were so funny. They were like, no, a high quality opportunity when I just made 3 bands today, or I just made, like, people are going to make money regardless. And at the end of the day, you gotta realize, what is your strategy and what are you confident in? Don't let other people sway what you do and what you look at. I know for how I trade, there wasn't high quality opportunity. I know that. And then, especially on social media, you'll see someone else making like $2,000, $3,000. Bro, don't even compare, because they're probably just gambling. They probably got lucky. They're focusing on the money. They don't care about what everyone else is posting. That's why I highly recommend that you guys stay off social media. I only use Instagram to post, but I do occasionally check my comments. And then, like, while I'm posting, there will be someone else that has a video that I might watch. But I really don't spend any time on Instagram or any time on... I only watch, like, YouTube videos from my mentor and things like that. Like, if you want to grow, stop looking at Twitter and stop looking at Instagram, bro. Because people are going to come into the market no matter what, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you didn't see any opportunities today. I just made $2,000. I just made $3,000. We do not care about that. I don't care what anyone else made. I don't care the money that someone else made. They probably don't have conviction within their strategy, and they can easily come on there and lie. So social media is definitely not good for your psychology, and I definitely would not recommend. Especially, you got to be honest with yourself. It came to a point to when I used to use Instagram and I used to use YouTube a lot for wrong reasons. I now use it to create, and I use it for good. But there's also a whole nother dark side on social media that you have to be aware of. Are you wasting your time on social media? Are you being productive with social media? Or are you just using it to kind of vent and just to mindless scroll? I would highly recommend you guys get off social media. Ever since I've stopped using it as a mindless consumer, I'm not going to lie, there are some times when I do scroll on Instagram. But the times I do scroll on Instagram, I'm not looking at anything on trading related, because all that is just kind of BS. I don't care about what these guys are trading. I don't care about these other influencers. I don't care about these other traders on there, because I know that they have no correlation to my journey that I'm on. You should only care about your journey. A lot of people are going to say BS. A lot of people are going to say, oh, you didn't see any high quality opportunities today? I made $5,000. We do not care about that. We do not care, because at the end of the day, like, I don't mean any harm on anyone, and I don't say anything, but if you're looking at this chart and if you have confidence in something within this chart and you say, oh, I went 3 for 3 today, I highly doubt that you are consistent with this. And yet you could have a strategy that's perfectly fine. But if you're trading how I trade and you went 3 for 3 today, or if you guys traded today and you guys trade how I trade, and if you guys went 3 for 3 today, or if you guys took more than one trade today and you actually had conviction with it, I really didn't see high quality opportunity, and you guys might have seen high quality opportunity that I didn't see. That's why I like chart reviews, to win. I want you guys to see high quality opportunity that you guys saw, but I simply did not see anything. I maybe saw along here, but this is not high quality opportunity, because let's look at the higher time frame. We've just sold off. Yes, we can rebalance the equilibrium, but like, nothing's for certain. Nothing's for sure. The draw on the higher time frame now is probably likely these lows. And that's what I kind of want to talk about. So I really only saw potentially like 1 or 2 trades. I didn't like anything today. And that's just a part of where we're at. High quality opportunity just isn't popping up and flashing in our faces. You guys have seen me take multiple losses. That's okay. I'm not flustered. I'm not flustered with any of the trades that I've taken in the past weeks, because I know that there will always be opportunity. I feel like it depends on how people take their setups. People that only take some A plus, yeah, it definitely depends on your trader. Like you can see something that's like okay, and you could maybe take it with less risk, which is what I did. I took something that was okay. Actually, I do want to dive in deeper into this trade. I think that a trade here is okay. I don't like how this is what I'm talking about when I say that I probably should have taken I should have probably taken a second entry here. This I think is a little bit too early. If we respect this fair value gap, get displacement higher, I could possibly take an entry, maybe a turtle soup up in here to target this high and maybe target equilibrium. But we don't have true displacement higher to validate that we do want to go higher. And once we get back up in this range, I could possibly take a long here. But I think taking a long here is kind of too early, kind of too premature. So I could have just waited for us to displace higher and then take a long to target this high. Once we're already back inside this range, or once we're higher inside this range, once we show that we probably want to go to this high. Yeah. Do you want to send it? You want to send it in the chat, or you want to, if you send it in the chat, that's probably the best. Or you can hop on here and you can talk about it. It's really up to you. But looking at what I am looking for into the upcoming days, we have all these stacked highs up here, and we're kind of in an area in which I simply, it just doesn't look the grandest. We have come back now into OTE. We have this 4-hour fair value gap. We have this 4-hour order block. This could be a leg to fake traders to then go higher. But if we look at ES and where we have been, all right, Jason, I'm gonna explain my bias, and then I got you. This looks like we now have displacement through a low, and I want to see this breaker fair value gap get revisited. This is an area in which I want to see. I want to see this breaker fair value gap, and then possible a rejection off of this. If we break above this, I'm confident that the draw is going to be these highs. But if we start respecting this, we could head lower. Notice on ES, we still have the SMT at the highs. We now have some displacement through the low. Depending on how the market opens, if we're respecting this 4-hour imbalance, I would expect the draw to be lower if we're respecting this. But if we're breaking above this, I would expect the draw to possibly be these internal highs on NQ. It all depends on what happens in the overnight session. We're at a point to when this could just be a rebalancing to equilibrium of this price leg to then head lower still. But looking at all these lot highs on NQ, this does look a little bit too clean to leave. So I think that we might get another push up higher. Notice that how I did say that we are in OTE of this range, to where now I think that we could possibly head higher to then head lower. But overall, I'm not going to be completely bearish yet. It all depends on what we do in the overnight session. So this could be a point in which we reject here. Notice how we also have this kind of breaker here on ES on the 4-hour and this imbalance that we're currently in. So if we respect this area on ES and we open, I would expect the draw to possibly be this low that we put in, and then this low in the upcoming few days. But notice the generated sell side that we have. I was saying this coming into the week. I said, what does this look like? I posted this in the homework or something. What does this look like? We have low resistance liquidity to then have a manipulation move, then displacement through a low. This could be the start of a market maker sell model. But just the fact that NQ has this low resistance, like we have all these lows, we generate a high, we generate a high, we generate a high. We haven't taken this yet, which could be something that we take. But keep in mind, we do have an SMT at highs, and now we're starting to get displacement lower. So I'm going to react to what the market's showing me. I'm not going to be over biased to something just to be over biased to something. I'm going to let the market show me what we want to do, but this could be an area in which I would like to see respect. Anytime we have a breaker lined up with an imbalance, it's going to be higher probability to reject. Notice as well what we have here. We have this liquidity that we are building. We are generating liquidity. So we could see us come back down and take this, and this be the draw in liquidity. So it all depends on what we do. We're bouncing off this 4 hour imbalance, 4 hour order block. So I'm curious to see what we do in the overnight session. I'm not completely bearish yet. Excuse me, sorry. I'm not completely bearish yet. If we come up and reject this, possibly do something like this in the overnight, I would be pretty bearish coming into tomorrow. But if we do something like this to where we want to really rip, I would expect the draw to be these highs in the upcoming days. It all depends on what we do. All right, Jason. Yeah.
I like what you're saying earlier about social media.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's like I've started to like completely I mean, if you're taking the trading stuff you see on social media seriously, then there's definitely something wrong in the first place.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
yeah. Today's price action was something. Um, this morning was I didn't want to trade AM because it was news at like what 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
Am I
we had
correct?
we had Jolt's Jobs opening, I believe.
Yeah. I had a lot of people that were like, I'm not trading today, other than London. Like in another server, like everyone, London was feasting just as usual. We recently you talked about it. Like London has been eating. New York Open, and that's just really it. Like PM has been untradeable. Let me show you. Let me send my trade here.
Yeah, I really want to
I
see.
took
I want to see it.
I took one trade. It wasn't even like a high confluence trade. Like I'm gonna be honest, it was probably like a B trade, but it was a trade I got funded with, so I'll take it.
The only thing I would suggest for you is just stop. You're the thing I don't like about fundeds is they kind of shift the focus on trying to get funded. The more that you try to focus on being funded, the harder that you'll make it. Because say you ended up taking a loss here, and say that this ended up being a loss, you you would have probably gotten emotional over this. So is this a trade?
Yeah, it was something like that. So I think that was like what? Let me see. So I didn't post my full analyzation, but it was at around 11:30. Um, let's see. Let me just pull this up real quick.
Where did
Okay,
you
yeah.
target? Where were you targeting here?
So my original target was let's see. Let me pull up my chart. My original target was gonna be equal lows, which was really far down. I was really, really confident that these three candles that pushed up, or however many on the 1 minute, like I thought that was a fake. Like I didn't expect that to continue like up. So I targeted equal lows that were made at around 10 o'clock, 10:20, which is another like I don't know how many ticks. But then after placing it, I was on the 5 minute. If you hop on the 5 minute, yeah, down there.
So
Yeah, exactly.
okay.
Yeah, I was targeting. I was trying to target equal lows all the way down there where you have it marked up, which would be more honestly more of a swing trade than like a intra like on the 5 minute trade. But yeah. So I placed my trade. It completely rejected. It rejected. I wanted it to take out I think it was AM highs.
Yeah.
I wanted it to take out AM highs to see how price action would play off of that. But it like the second it got even close to it, like I remember it like perfectly, like it just completely wicked down. It completely wicked down, and I was extremely confident that we were gonna push down at least until the PM session, at least until noon. So I took, and it was I'd say probably like a like a B entry on my terms. It was a tight stop loss, um, which obviously I managed on the way down as the trade went down because in this trade wasn't in drawdown, and other than the beginning.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I do not like this trade at all, and this is just how I see it. So, for you to take this trade, I just think there's a lack of confirmation, and I don't think that there's much behind it, because taking the trade, the entry where you did, like we can easily just like there's no confirmation. You're kind of just h- h- playing a top here and hoping that price flushes, which it did, and I just don't think that you can. Which it might work for you. You might have a system down for it, but personally, I just don't think that you can come to the market every day and place trades like this and have that being repeated. Like you're kind of just catching a top here, and then in my opinion, I just think that you kind of got lucky here. That's just my personal opinion. You said that you were targeting equal lows down here, and we just had a quick move up. If you look at my screen, we had just displacement higher, and if we look at the higher time frame, such as the 1 hour, we just had a huge sell off lower. So for you to come in the market, and I'm not trying to bash you, this is just what I think personally. For you or me to come in the market and after seeing this quick move higher, after we just had this huge sell off, and then take a trade trying to top tick something, which ended up happening, which if I were you, if it's something that you think that you're really confident in, and I just don't like it, because for you to say that we're going to inverse this with like it was probably like a 10 or risk reward was probably like 5.
5.3. Yeah.
I just don't like it. The the only trade, the trade that would have been better in my opinion here, that probably would have been repeatable. So if you look on my screen, we have this deviation level, and standard deviation is the manipulation leg. This is the manipulation leg lower, and then we have displacement higher. So if you see here this -2 to 2.5 level, I would recommend watching a video on standard deviation. I know there's one in the helpful videos, but if we look at this, if we ever respect standard deviation, which is -2 to 2.5, we will typically head back into equilibrium of that range. Does that make sense? So we have this -2 to 2.5 level. If we respect it or reject it, I'm looking for us to head back in equilibrium of the previous price leg.
No, yeah, I completely agree. No, this was on my terms. I don't even know why I took this trade. I mean, with the thing with me, it's kind of tough is I'm trading in school. Like, unless I wake up at 3 a.m. in my time zone for London, I'm trading in school. And when it comes to trading in school, it's tough. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
get that.
constantly, my teachers are telling me to close my computer. I got kids talking to me at the same time. Just, it's so tough to have your, like, to be completely focused. That's why I said that was probably like a BB minus setup. Like, I'm never taking a trade like that once I get my live credentials. Not even close. No.
Okay,
But
so
I guess I was lucky. I just don't want to take that as like a, oh, I can just do that again. Like, those are stuff that just doesn't come every day.
if you took it on your funded account, and you said that you wouldn't take it on the live with live credentials, I don't like that, because you're forming a bad habit. Yes, you did pass this trade. I would honestly take a minute, and I would step back, and I would say, I don't know if I were you, but I just think that that trade was just luck. The better trade, or like the only trade entry I would see, would just be this fair value gap targeting equilibrium. I like a short
Yeah.
here. I think that this will repeat more often.
No,
Just
yeah.
taking
No, I
the low
get that.
hanging fruit.
Yeah, no. I know. I know. No, yeah, no, that's. I mean, this is my like. I've been on futures for 1.5 weeks. I was previously forex. I was big on
Okay.
forex. So I'm still trying to learn all this stuff. I mean, I've had mixed reviews from people telling me, um, I mean, I want to hear your opinion, but I've had people telling me not to listen to ICT. I've heard people to tell me just to listen to ICT. I feel like maybe, like, I feel like a mix. Like, find someone who truly, like, find a mentor, but also incorporate some ICT, because I don't truly believe. I don't my personal style. I don't really like trading 100% ICT everything. Like, I feel like maybe try to find my own way.
Okay, I had your same exact view. So I saw other people trading ICT concepts, and I thought, hey, if they're trading ICT concepts, then ICT concepts will probably stop working in the future. Is that how you think as well?
What do you mean by stop working in the future?
Like, so say everyone trades ICT concepts, then they'll like stop working because the algos or whatever will find out that everyone's trading this way, and then it will change.
Yeah, that's why I really find it. I mean, I don't know. Do you personally trade 100% ICT or?
Yeah. So, my mentor is Justin Werling. I'm in his Discord, and I would highly recommend you check him out. But I would say, personally, stick to ICT concepts. You're in a Discord. We all trade ICT concepts. You have people like me in here that are encouraging you to get better and to learn ICT concepts. This is a completely free server. I would definitely recommend stick to ICT, and hey, maybe you start trading ICT and then you find something else that works for you. I would recommend dialing in on one thing. Granted, I'm still learning too. I'm still becoming better as well. But what's helped me grow is just sticking to one and sticking to one mentor. I would highly recommend finding one mentor. I like ICT, but I wouldn't recommend you like go and watch his videos just because he chit chats a lot. He goes on rants and he's not the best teacher. I would recommend you watching Justin Werling. He's really improved my trading 10 times over. But I would say stick to one mentor and just listen to one person. So many people are going to tell you different stuff. If you see on my Instagram comments, there's so many people saying different bullshit and different opinions about me and about the way that I trade. So everyone's going to have different things to say, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's pressing buy or sell. So you're the one that's going to have that confidence and that conviction within that trade. No one's going on social media is going to be in your ear, whispering in your ear to tell you to take buy or sell. And if they are whispering in your ear, telling you to place buy or sell, it's not going to be the same. So the part of trading that's the hardest is to build your own conviction and to become a better trader yourself, which is why I think that social media is just so bad, especially for traders.
Yeah, I completely agree. When it comes to finding a mentor, like anybody can be a self-proclaimed mentor these days. We'll fake a payout, fake multiple funded accounts, and you consider yourself like. How do you find like a legitimate mentor?
Um, that's a good question. I would say you could
Check out your guy. Like I'll check out Justin.
definitely, definitely, definitely. He's helped so much with my psychology and the way I view the market, and he's helped me a lot. Um, I would say that at the end of the day, for you to become a better trader, you have to become the better trader. You have to become the better trader. That comes through journaling, through seeing it yourself, and to see it repeated over and over. Because someone else tells you something, like you're the one that's gonna have to build that conviction. So a mentor is not gonna do wonders for you. You're gonna have to figure it out yourself. But I would recommend you finding a mentor and then just going through it. I would recommend you like I've been posting chart annotations in the chart annotations channel, and ever since I've done that, my view on the market has become a lot better. I also do these chart reviews every single day and see price action. Like you're going to learn the most, you're going to grow the most by just seeing it happen over and over. So there's only so much a mentor can do for you.
Yeah. You going live tomorrow?
Yeah, I go live every single day. I'm live in the chart reviews, and then I'm also like I'll do a stage like the same thing, and then I also go live on YouTube every day.
Do we have any news tomorrow?
I believe we have. I think Powell might be speaking.
It's either Wednesday or Thursday that I think I saw that.
Yeah, Powell speaks tomorrow. I'm not too worried about it. And then we have PMI, and then we have this NFP news. So keep in mind that Powell does speak tomorrow, but I'm not going to be too worried about it.
So he speaks during PM session?
Yeah, he speaks at 12 Eastern time.
I mean, honestly, last week was like for me. I don't think I got a single winning trade last week. I traded like 3 or 4 times maybe. the price action was just not for me. But I feel like I learned a lot more than if I were to win.
Yeah.
Because learning how to learning how to not trade or take a loss in like crappy conditions or conditions that don't work for your setups. Like last week, I didn't. If I tell like genuinely, I did not see a single A plus setup last week, Monday through Friday. I mean, Friday we didn't even trade. We didn't have a full trading week.
And that's just how it is. Sometimes, like, especially where we have been in the past few days, we haven't had high quality opportunity, in my opinion. So there are going to be times when price does clean up, but for now, it's about playing defense. Like, I took small losses today, and it's not going to ruin my conviction because I know there's always going to be a day in the future. So me taking a loss today is not going to affect me at all because I know that there's going to be days in the future. All right. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have. I'll be live tomorrow, and that like today just wasn't the best day, honestly.
No, yeah, I agree. That was